guys, welcome back to Meyer Studio Sketch Club. My name is Izzy. Next to me is my dad Jason, and just behind us is my mom
What's her name?
Cindy. Okay. This week we'll be focusing on trees. Tonight we'll do 4 5-minute sketches on trees. Before we get started, my dad will take a few minutes to talk about his approach before sketching starts at 7. Oh, your turn.
Hello. Hope everybody had a good break. Yeah, Izzy got some of that fermented fruitcake, I think. So, Claudia likes it. All right. Well, let's head over to the iPad and look at what we'll be working on this week. So we've got 4 trees in different situations here. And for this one of the things you'll obviously notice are the white trunks. Right? Highlight that. But remember, we're going to do 5 minutes tonight, which isn't very much time. So you're going to see me build these big kind of shapes and just indicate this. Now you do need to decide where the light's coming from, and even though this is basically front lit, I'm going to do this way, so you're going to see shadow on this side, and then on the white I'll put shadow on those, and you'll see those whites start to come alive with those shadows a little bit. Again, 5 minutes, we just barely get the bones in there, so tonight's just about quickly laying some things down and loosening up and being in the practice. Not trying to get into museum, we're just trying to move our arm and sketch a little bit. Here on this one, what I'm going to pick up most is these trees right here, almost in a, there we go. All right, we'll form like that. We'll catch you with these. I'll give you a few of these and then walk us down the valley this way. And then indicate a couple of these. And again, we're not going to have much time for that. So tonight's really about simplifying. Simplifying.
Susan's here.
Hello,
everybody. Susan and Claudia and
Danny
Lori
and
and
Tom and Shakti and my mom
there we go.
and Desiree.
We got the whole gang.
Hi guys.
Desiree, cool, and the gang. On this one, again, not a lot of time, so grab the overall shape in here. Right? And then notice how there's sort of a repeat way down here. Little so that's kind of a nice thing to balance there. You know, a big to a small. And then we're going down the hill and give it a little cast shadow too. That'll help. And then the mountains, I'm probably going to lower a little bit just to make it more about the tree. Okay, again, I know there's not much here, but 5 minutes, it goes fast. And the last one, I started to warm up on this one tonight, and I actually made a little more progress.
Hey, that's the Laguna Lake, isn't it? The
Mhm.
little trail.
That is Laguna Lake. So you'll see me hit these big kind of masses first and line them up and then fit some tree trunks in there. And a cast shadow on the ground will really sell this thing. Okay? So quick and loose. Again, tonight's not about perfecting anything, but it's about seeing the big pieces and just loosening up and not being afraid and having fun. And then what we'll do is, what will we do? What will we do? What will we do?
Struggle.
No. We'll do 4 5 minutes tonight, and then Tuesday we'll take 2 of them and work 10 more minutes on them, and then we'll take the other 2 on Thursday and work 10 more minutes on those. And we're going to see how that format works out this week. All right, so is everybody about ready to get going? You got your gear, you know what to look for. You got to be ready to go. 5 minutes isn't very long. All right, here we go. So we are off and running. Again, don't worry about too much other than this tree. I know there's a lot of stuff behind it and reeds in front of it, but again, 5 minutes isn't very long. So let's look for big general shapes that we can come back to Tuesday or Thursday to kind of tighten up, refine a little bit. Anyway, that's my approach. You're always welcome to do it however you see fit or desire. First thing I was using was just my stump. I was hoping to leave some marks on there, but there was no charcoal on it, so I had to go to the vine charcoal. And I start with the vine charcoal because it's very forgiving, and it goes to more of a gray. And then when I'm confident this is what I want, I can go to my compressed charcoal and be a little more committal and let that gray save that gray for some of the other things like background. So again, what I'm trying to see is big patterns that I can pick up of the foliage through the trees. And sometimes some of this is creative and designed, but you just want to get in the habit of trying to look and see quickly the overall. Right? Can we quickly express the overall?
That was Bo.
That was Bo?
I was
Yeah.
snorting back there.
Oh, it sounded like Millie.
No,
She's
it's
up there.
it's when he
Oh.
like rolls around on
No,
his
he's-
back
yeah.
and then he goes.
Oh.
He's on the prowl back here.
And then the stump again is just to kind of even some of this out to make this little looser shape, not these harsh lines. But notice that, you know, different angles, different ways. We're making things interesting while we're finding our way. And of course, it's really hard to ignore those tree trunks, right? That's what kind of separates this. Those white eucalyptus tree trunks. So we're going to suggest a few of those. Nice, Izzy. Nice. What you, are you laughing at Bo?
What are you doing?
He's chasing his tail.
You need some. We haven't played
Yes.
ball enough, I think.
Get your tail.
You need some playtime. So just to update you guys on YouTube this week, we'll be back in the morning for some morning feedback, morning jumpstart, student feedback. I'm not going to get the studio time going tomorrow. I still have a few things we need to work out this week. If everything goes right, maybe we'll have one or two later in the week. But we will do morning jumpstart, and I will do Masterworks 8 a.m. for the morning jumpstart, Pacific Standard Time, and 8 p.m. for the Masterworks. So, unfortunately, I know some people have sent some things in. I have not had a chance to look at email yet. I'm going to do that a little later tonight, and when I decide the program tomorrow, we'll let you guys know who's up, and if you're up, and then if you miss it, we can always send the link. There'll be no Zoom tomorrow, and then our last class Zoom for December will be Friday the 1st, and we will keep that Zoom going. What's up?
Bo is now hunting for mice.
Oh.
Bo's our entertainment.
And even if you have something facelit, you want to get a little shadow. Notice how I put that shadow next to my white, how instantly those things kind of popped out. And then with my compressed charcoal, I can be a little more confident and go back and put in the foliage.
This is compressed charcoal, right?
That's the compressed.
Mm-hmm.
So mark that and try to smudge it, and then use this one and try to smudge that and see the difference. It smudges a lot, though. And that one still smudges, but not quite as easy. Right? Remember that's a lot lighter when you started, and that started a lot darker?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so try to get some dark. You see what I'm doing there? Getting the dark patterns on the form? Yeah, get a little bit of that in there. Again, just overall, you don't want to think too detailed now. We'll come back later in the week and give this another 10 minutes. Like always, these images are up on the website under Sketch Club Live, so you can go and refer to them. I know 5 minutes is not very long. It's not very long.
Nothing's very long for you unless it's like 7 hours of work.
I don't know what to tell you.
You'll need to learn the ways of the quick sketch.
The ways of the quick sketch. I enjoy being a little more, I don't know, it's not even leisurely. It's just not so microwave. Investing a little time and effort into something. So now I just visualizing this as a big arrow kind of heading down. As dark's there. Same thing, 5 minutes isn't very long to do a whole valley of trees and mountains and all of this. So very quickly we want to try to get some light, dark, gray patterns that we can come back in and work on top of. For those of you that are more experienced, even as you're doing this, you know, even though it's not quote unquote specific, see if you can't still make your marks interesting. Spice it up a little bit. Show me something interesting. And so when I do things like that, I'm counting on coming back with the stump and kind of evening it out a little bit. And I want to try to make that less than those forward trees, and that these even less than those. As we go back, less and less and less and all the way down the valley. And again, we're trying to express an idea, and if we're trying to express the idea of distance, we don't have to even copy exactly what's in the photo, but large to small with the mountains, and go with what works.
Wow,
yeah, so rub your fingers
my
through.
mountains are good.
Yeah, they look good. And you can use the stump and rub it, and then that'll look like they're way back there, and then you can put a little more line on there if you want. You see, look how I'm doing the forward trees right now? And so, like, if you rub your mountains out, then come in, not that dark, but just give a little bit of an edge there. So I will even these out, but again, since I've got the whole scene kind of in here, I want to come back to my foremost trees in the foreground and spend some time giving that a more active shape. And then as I move back to the trees, back into space, each one should get a little less active, a little less active, a little less active, a little less dark, a little less dark, a little less dark, right? A little less hard edge, a little less hard. You get it? Just everything's going to be less, 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 less as we move back into space. But it still needs to be interesting. Don't bore me. Make it interesting. Make the more interesting, make the less interesting. Make it all interesting.
Wow.
Make your vocabulary interesting.
You don't have to try.
Yeah, it's kind of this never-ending game of simplifying, but keeping it interesting. Does that make sense? Again, the idea is not to get overwhelmed with the whole thing, but how can we quickly kind of map out the entirety? And that way, if we need to move around any big pieces, we can move those around without investing a lot of time. And then if we're happy with those big pieces, then we can go ahead and commit a little bit. Spend some time developing a little detail. Remember, we want to work from big to small. Big to small. And it's okay, especially with lighter touches. This is the compressed charcoal, but it's a little lighter touch, to have some searching lines. But, you know, don't go searching in different states for a snack to eat, right? Keep it in the neighborhood. Keep it in the neighborhood. And what you see is I use the stump more and more in the back, and then I'll kind of less and less pressure as I move forward. So again, the forward trees are a little bit more, right here, just barely keeping some of the dark ones. So just getting in the habit of painting in that direction of more to less, more to less. Then what you're doing is you're painting the entire painting rather than painting a particular tree within a painting.
Ooh, that's time.
Yep, 5 minutes, not very long. So, a friend and a student that studied with me when we had the classes in Morro Bay, this is on their property, which is just gorgeous. And she invited me out, and unfortunately, my allergies were so bad I just couldn't. But it's just like paradise. One thing I'd like you to notice is the trees are different values, but they're always the darkest, right? If you compare the tree to the mountain, they may be a little closer in value, but that tree is darker, right? And even if you look down the valley to the smaller tree, that's darker than the grass and things around it. So we're going to pick up on those patterns, because that's something charcoal can do. It can go dark or it can go gray, right? Darker than. And those are the terms that I kind of try to think in. More or less in terms of kind of relationships. Again, with the compressed charcoal, it wipes down so easy. I don't have to worry too much about really hard lines I can't get rid of or marks I don't like. And so that's why I tend to start a little looser, a little more general with the vine charcoal. And then I can come back with my darker charcoal and kind of pick the trees out from the mountains. And be a little more mysterious with the comings and the goings.
You done sketching this one, guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna do next one.
Yeah. You did good on those. That's not easy. That's a good job. Again, it's hard for most people, especially when they start, to do that abstraction, the bigness, right? Because we're always looking for all the details. And we'll get to that, but it's important to get those big pieces in place. All right, let's get the foundation of the house and the plumbing in before you start hanging the curtains. It's the same sort of idea. And now that I've got the big pieces, I can come back and again think a little bit more about this tree and some of its shapes. Again, I can't get too caught up in any individual shape. I can just think about the tree as a whole and some of the big movements. So in everything you work from, a good pattern is just working large to small. Right? And that's not my opinion, it's just very practical. Because if I worked small to large, what would happen if I spent 45 minutes working on a little leaf or something at the top of that tree, and then, oops, I need to move the bottom of that tree down 3/4 of an inch. Right? Whereas here, I haven't even spent 5 minutes. If I need to move the tree up or down, it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of willpower. right? But if you spent 45 minutes on the top little inch of this tree, trust me, you're not going to move that thing. You're like, forget it. Forget it. I'm just asking you not to be like that. Just don't have to be like that. Be a little easier about it.
Good.
She's
I'm
watching.
She's studying.
She's decoding how it's done. And so now I'm just kind of massing in. I haven't really even thought about the trunks or anything. I'm just thinking about the big mass of this tree. Remember, we'll have another 10 minutes we can come back and pick out some little details. And watch how later I just kind of move this tree down. I feel like it's a little too high. I'd like it to be bigger, longer, taller. So I just grow a little bit more bottom of the tree. And this is where the smudging comes in with the stump, right? Because we don't want this to feel separate than the rest of the tree. So we'll blend that in together. And then maybe the cast shadow might look a little different. Or maybe not. I mean, the stump is fun. Just go, 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 go. But even as I use the stump back there, you can see how it's still more than those mountains behind them. And by more, I just mean darker. That it stands out from those mountains. And the idea is it doesn't stand out as much as this forward tree. So that little idea of just size and not standing out as much, smaller, less detail, will make it seem like there's great distance into this two-dimensional surface. And at that point, you're magic. All right, and let's see, we've got
Last tree.
last one. The last one. At this point, I'm warmed up.
Sounds good.
I'm warmed up. Do you see the big masses? See this? Look at this big curve right like that from one end to the other. And then there's a small curve that joins in on the top. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to base my shapes off those big things, and then I'm going to try to find that small shape. That's kind of like a rectangle, a little bit. Not rectangle, triangle. Sorry, I lose language when I go visual. I lose my language. But you see I'm working on that big mass, and I'm trying to give it a gesture. So it's not even, but lower on one side and higher on the other side. Little different shape. So I know it thinks looks like I'm just throwing lines down, but I'm thinking about the shapes I'm making and the actions they're taking. And again, it doesn't have to be hard. Right? You can do this. How can you give those big shapes some movement, some gesture? Make them uneven. Keep them connected. But now you guys should know 5 minutes is not very much time. Right? You don't have really time to look for any detail because you get nothing done. But if you just kind of move quickly, and again, we have erasers. We can erase, right? But we don't want fear to stop us, and we don't want to be timid. We just want to move. We want to learn to see big pieces. And again, think about this as just a nice walk. Or if you're a runner, a nice jog. Just like getting some fresh air. Don't concern yourself with the finish and mine doesn't look pretty or anything like that. Just come back and do it some more and do it some more. And before you know it, you're going to be getting better. But don't let the fear of yours not being good or not being good enough stop you. Izzy's fear just sent her out of the room. No.
I'm still here.
You look so serious.
And then a cast shadow on the ground. Those things do work better if you warm them up a little bit with your...
Yeah.
Can always really work. So you can see very quickly you can get the whole thing in there. Yeah, it's not the prettiest, but we can come back and add and refine again when we have more time. And if you want to work on this outside of Sketch Club, the images are on the website, jasonmeyer.com. Take your cursor to the Sketch Club and hover there, and you'll see reference images pop up. Click on that, and you'll see this week's reference images. You can click on each one, and then at the top of the page, you can see a plus sign if you want to make that image bigger. And you can hit that plus sign many times to get it as big as you need.
Also links in the chat.
Ah, look at that. Links in the chat. You know, that's why I married that woman, her link ability.
What?
Just so sexy. Never gets old.
Ugh. It's nasty.
All right. The point here is to have some fun, and when we're having fun, if you kind of do it consistently, you get better. You get better. Hopefully Izzy's faces she makes on camera gets a little better. Right? Hopefully my drawings get a little better.
You made me gross out. It was your fault.
I made you gross out
By a compliment?
by loving your mother?
Yes.
That's not gross.
That's not gross.
That's beautiful, man. Learn to see the beauty.
It's beautiful, but it's not at the same time.
Oh, the paradoxes abound. The paradoxes abound.
There are limits that you can go to for it to still be beautiful.
All right.
Until-
All right. We're close to
After that,
time.
it's just great.
All right. So 4 or 5 minutes. 20 minutes goes fast. All right. So in just over a minute, why don't we look at the whole show again? You can take a break, and if you were sketching, you can kind of see the patterns I was working with. And again, it looks a little funnier, but it's kind of easier to see the patterns when it's sped up, right? The roles that the gray plays, the roles that the dark plays. Not the prettiest. 5 minutes isn't very long. Go hug the puppies. Man, are you saying my drawings are that bad? Oof. Oof, as Izzy would say. I got oofed.
Speaking of my funny faces, I totally started laughing when I remembered when I accidentally drank apple cider vinegar.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we need to give the puppy some attention. Bo doesn't need to be chasing his tail. We can throw a ball for him.
Where is he? Did he just
He
leave?
went out the front yard. He's probably on his bed out in the living room.
Why did you say front yard?
Mhm.
Just made him sound like he ran away.
All right, everybody. Well, that wraps up the first show of the week. Thank you,
She does
Claudia.
like
It's
you.
good to see you guys. Yours are great. I know. I'm just joshing. I'm just kidding. Got to keep it light. Keep it fun. All right. Nice to be sketching again. And like I said, I'm going to go through the email in a little while and pick out some work for tomorrow morning. I hope you can join me at 8 a.m. If you like, please give us a thumbs up. We love all the love. And you can like and subscribe to us on YouTube at Meyer Studio. Jason, Cindy, and Izzy. There's Janny. Did I forget anything, sweetie? Any announcements I forget?
Nope.
Nope, we're all good?
We must think a second.
All right. Thank
We
you.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Yeah, we'll see you Friday on Zoom and in between for sure. All right. Good to see everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.